evening. Today is Sunday, January 28th, 2024. My name is Carol, K4KF, and this is the Henderson Amateur Radio Club's Sunday Night Net. Welcome to everyone. This net is sponsored by and for the members of the Henderson Amateur Radio Club every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. local time. This is a controlled net, and I will be your net controller. Emergency or priority traffic should break into the net and call net control at any time. Any emergency or priority traffic, call net control now. Each week, the HARC network is joined by several affiliated repeaters, which enables us to provide coverage to the Las Vegas Valley, Pahrump, Amargosa Valley, and Los Angeles. In addition to our own repeaters, dozens of All-Star and Echolink connections from around the country join us on a weekly basis. Repeater information and note numbers can be found on the W7HEN.org repeater page. It's easy to become a member of this fast-growing organization. Membership gives you access to the club's members-only webpage and the W7HEN.groups.io page, both of which contain a lot of information that might be of interest to you, the amateur radio operator. To join, just visit W7HEN.org and click on the Join Now button. A reminder, the HARC repeaters use courtesy tones. Don't forget to wait for the beep. Stations with early traffic for the net, call net control now. Okay, QFTs follow. The January General Membership Meeting was held on January 23rd. In addition to meeting the newly elected Board of Directors, those present at the well-attended meeting were treated to a special presentation of Guess the Shack. Club members submitted pictures of their shack. The pictures were assembled and presented to the membership at the meeting. We then attempted to guess whose shack it was. It was a lot of fun, and there were a few surprises. We also had a year-end finance review by Treasurer Larry, K7MLG, and finally, there was a 50-50 raffle. The next general membership meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 28th, 2024. General membership meetings are held on the fourth Tuesday of each month. They start at 6 p.m. and are located at the American Legion BMI Post 40 Hall, located on 425 East Van Wagenen Street in Henderson. The board will hold a budget discussion on Zoom on Wednesday, January 31st, so that's just coming up in a couple of days. If you would like to attend the meeting, send an email to budget2024@w7hen.org. We will get you the Zoom credentials. Again, that's budget2024@w7hen.org if you would like to attend the Zoom finance meeting. The Red Mountain Project is starting up. There will be a tag meeting on Wednesday, February 7th, 2024 to discuss further steps. The meeting will be on Zoom and is scheduled to start at 6:30 p.m. Tag members will be notified shortly of the meeting credentials. The club's Tuesday breakfast get-togethers resume next week on January 30th. That's in 2 days, so this coming week. The breakfasts are held at the Skyline Hotel and Casino Restaurant, located on South Boulder Highway in Henderson. There is no official start time, but people generally arrive any time between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m., with most getting there by about 8 a.m. You do not have to be a club member to attend HARC general membership meetings or breakfast meetings. Anyone with an interest in amateur radio is welcome to any of those meetings. If you haven't already taken time, please take the time to visit budget2024@w7hen.org. We will get you the Zoom credentials. Again, that's budget2024@w7hen.org if you would like to attend the Zoom finance meeting. The Red Mountain Project is starting up. There will be a tag meeting on Wednesday, February 7th, 2024 to discuss further steps. The meeting will be on Zoom and is scheduled to start at 6:30 p.m. Tag members will be notified shortly of the meeting credentials. The club's Tuesday breakfast get-togethers resume next week on January 30th. That's in 2 days, so this coming week. The breakfasts are held at the Skyline Hotel and Casino Restaurant, located on South Boulder Highway in Henderson. There is no official start time, but people generally arrive any time between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m., with most getting there by about 8 a.m. You do not have to be a club member to attend HARC general membership meetings or breakfast meetings. Anyone with an interest in amateur radio is welcome to any of those meetings. If you haven't already taken time, please take the time to visit your Ham Club online account and renew your dues for the upcoming year. Thank you for your participation in the club. If you are a new ham looking for some practical amateur radio advice, we encourage you to try the Henderson Amateur Radio Club's new Ham Net, which is held on Thursday evenings starting at 6 p.m. The Net's moderators, Steve, KJ7RNB, and Gene, N7WDV, are very good at getting new hams comfortable with the protocols, customs, and good operating procedures that are part of ham radio. It gets great reviews from new hams. It's a great place to learn. Give it a try. The new Hams Net, Thursdays at 6 p.m. on these same frequencies. That's the end of tonight's QSTs. Roll call follows. The roll call roster is updated every week. Your call sign will be called if you have checked in at least one time during the past 4 weeks. When responding to net control, please indicate which repeater you are using. Repeater information helps the club make sure the repeater coverage is what we think it should be. If you have a short 1 minute or less comment or short announcement, those are always welcome on this net. Just mention your comment when you check in. If you have any additional traffic that could take a bit longer than a minute, just indicate you have additional traffic when checking in. You will be acknowledged and you will be asked to stand by with your traffic. The roll call will continue on once the initial roll call is complete. Net control will call you back and ask for your traffic. After the additional traffic, net control will call for late, missed check-ins, or for visitors' check-ins. Roll call begins. Okay, first up is John, KJ7MHB.
This is John, KJ7MHB, coming in via H1 on my FTM 400 from Silverado Ranch and Bermuda. Thanks for doing the net tonight.
You're welcome, John. Got you in loud and clear on H1. Next is Mike, KK7H2P.
This is Mike, KK7H2P, coming in on Echolink.
Thanks, Mike. Sounds great on Echolink. Next is Aaron, KJ7MNE.
This is Aaron, also on Echolink in Pacific Northwest. No further traffic.
Thank you, Aaron. How about Virginia, KJ7MNF?
This is KJ7MNF in Porterford, Washington. Back to you, Nat.
Thanks, Virginia. Sounds great. This is Carol, KF4KF. I am continuing roll call for the Henderson Amateur Radio Club Sunday Night Net. Next up is Sam, KK7OSJ.
Good evening, everyone. This is Sam, KK7OSJ. I got no further traffic. I'm coming through H2, back to net control, 73.
Thanks, Sam. Sounds great. Next is Rick, KG7UYS. John, AB7M.
John, Alpha Bravo 7 Mike, on H2 over in Paradise, Nevada. No further traffic.
Thanks, John. Good to hear you. Next is Dave, W3QQQ.
Good evening, Carol, and everyone else that's on the net tonight. I just got through watching the Lions lose a game we should have won. I'm originally from Detroit. Boy, did we blow it. At any rate, going into the N1 H2 split on Motorola XTL 5000 outside Yagi antenna. This is W3 Triple Q. Great time watching the game, and thank you, Carol, for such a great net tonight thus far. Q, back to you.
Thanks, Dave. I'm really sorry for your loss on the Lions. You win some, you lose some. Next is Jerry, W8JRC.
Evening, Carol, in the net. This is W8JRC Jerry on the N1 H2 split repeater with no further traffic.
Thanks, Jerry. I got you checked in. Next is Frank, N2DKI.
This is Frank, N2DKI, downtown Henderson, H6 on a handheld.
Thanks, Frank. Sounds very clear on your handheld. Next is Michael, WN7CTF.
This is Michael, WN7CTF, coming to you from Whitney Ranch on the H6 repeater with 15 watts. Thank you very much for doing the net, Carol. Back to you.
You are welcome, kind sir. Next is Drew, KJ7PAR.
This is Drew, KJ7PAR, coming in on All-Star in Southern Highlands. No further comments. Back to you.
Thank you, Drew. Next is Tyler, KJ7ABN.
Good evening, this is KJ7ABN, checking in from H2, no traffic.
Thank you, Tyler. Next is Sean, K2STC.
Good evening, everyone on the net. This is Sean, K2STC, coming in on H1 this evening with my handheld. No traffic, back to net control. K2STC.
Thanks, Sean. Sounding good. Next is Tim, K7JTC.
Well, good evening, Carol, and the rest of the net, and my condolences to Dave, and I happen to agree with him, but we will talk about that later. Coming at you through H1 this evening on an FT991, and thanks for doing the net tonight, Carol. Much appreciated. Back to net control, K7JTC.
Thanks, Tim. Next is Bill, W7WDJ.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bill, Whiskey 7, Whiskey Delta Juliet, coming to you on my Lenco MD520, mobile as a base on H1 from Seven Hills.
Thank you. Sounds good from Seven Hills. Next is Tommy, KB7HTA.
Good evening, Carol, and the net. KB7HTA coming this evening through H2 using an IC7100 GP3 antenna. Grid power, no traffic.
Thanks, Tommy. Next is Bob, KC7EO.
This is Bob, KC7EO. I'm coming in on H2 with a handheld. Back to control.
Thanks, Bob. Good to hear you. Next is Tim, W9AYK.
This is Tim, W9AYK on H2.
Thanks, Tim. I've got you in. Next is Scott, KK6DZ.
Good evening, everyone on the net. Tonight I'm using my Kenwood B71. Mobile as a base. I have a dual band vertical in the attic. I'm operating through H1. Back to net control, KK6DZ.
Thank you, Scott. Next is Steve, N6SFX. Do we have Tony, K7ZEX? Lynham, KK7BUD.
Greetings, all. Hello, Carol, and thank you all for the invite. Do appreciate it. I'm on H2 N1 split coming from North Las Vegas on a, let's see, it's a Motorola XPR 4550. Nice little gem that I borrowed some time ago, and I miss him. But anyway, that's it. My condolences to the losers today. Man, sure was a good game. They both were good. Anyway, everybody have a great day, and go Super Bowl. KK7BUD.
Hey, Lynham. Thanks for the check-in. I love hearing every week you're, giving kudos to the radio that you got from Earl. It keeps them in our memory, and I love it. Next is Bill, N4NJJ.
Good evening, operators and listeners. This is Bill up in the Lone Mountain section of Las Vegas. I'm going through the NJJ Centennial Hills UHF box. It was great seeing, I think we had about slightly over 50 or just right at 50 members and guests the other evening, Tuesday night at the meeting. As we're going through here tonight, it's kind of cool. I can put the ham shack with the call sign and the voice after the Show Us Your Shack presentation. Just as a reminder, the Board of Directors does meet Wednesday, as in 3 days from now. I was about to say March 31st. January 31st for the budget meeting. If you have any comments or input for the budget, the email is up on the club website. And other than that, that's all I have. Dave, I didn't know you were from Detroit, and I'm sorry about your Lions. My boss is a big diehard Lions fan, so I'm kind of dreading going to work tomorrow because I know he'll be in a foul mood just like I was last week when the good old Buffalo Bills joked. This is N4NJJ back now.
Hey, Bill, thanks for that. all that good information, and I've got you checked in. Next up is my partner in crime, Darren, KJ7 UCS.
Good evening, everyone on the net. This is KJ7 UCS, Darren. We're using a Yaesu FT991A coming through H1 with a Comet GP1 on the roof. No further traffic. Back to net control. KJ7 UCS.
And this is Carol, KF4KF. I am continuing with roll call for tonight's Sunday Night Net. Next is Leo, KK7 GTH.
Hello, this is Leo, Kilo 7, Golf Papa Hotel, coming in from North Las Vegas via H7. Thank you for hosting. Nothing else, back to net control.
Thanks, Leo. Sounding great. Next is Alan, KG0Q. Next is Keith, K7 KSG.
Good evening, net control, K7 KSG, broadcasting into H2 from way down here at Horizon Ridge, Valley Verde. No further traffic, back to net. Oh, and thanks for being the net wrangler tonight.
Thanks, Keith. You're welcome. Next is Jerry, KD7YMO.
Good evening, Carol, Marissa Net. This is Jerry, KD7YMO on H2 with Nikon Mobile Grid Power with GP6 Outdoors. No further traffic. Back to net control. YMO.
Thank you, Jerry. Next is Gene, N7WDZ.
Good evening, everyone. This is Gene, N7WDZ. We're up in the northwest corner, Centennial Hills area. Currently on our Motorola XPR 450 going into the N1H2 split on Angel Peak. Not much more to report. Hope everybody has a great week, and thanks for doing the net, Carol. Back to net control.
Thanks, Gene. You're welcome. Next is Peter, KJ7CZI.
Good evening, Carol. This is Peter, KJ7CZI, transmitting using a handheld on A1. No further traffic, back to net control.
Thank you, Peter. Hope you're having a great evening. Next is Joe, KO7CAV.
Greetings, everyone on the net. This is Joe, KO7CAV, coming in on H6 from Henderson using an Anytone 878. No further traffic, back to net control. KO7CAV.
Thanks, Joe. One of these days I'm going to get the zeros and the O's figured out. Next is Linda, KJ7OWF.
Good evening, everyone on the net. Tonight I'm coming through on H2 on the Motorola 4550 with grid power and exterior antenna in KJ7OWF.
Thank you, Linda. That sounds really good. Next is Shane, KG7QWH.
Good evening, Carol. This is Shane. I'm on H1 tonight with a Motorola XPR 5550 mobile antenna and no further traffic. KG7QWH.
Thank you, Shane. Next is Steve, KJ7RNB.
Well, good evening to all. Transmitting on H6 with an ID 5100 and a GP3 antenna. Listening on the Nate node, unfortunately, because H6 has that dropout issue. Anxiously awaiting the general membership documents to be posted and the calendar to be updated. KJ7 RND.
Thank you, Steve. Next is Ryan 7FLR. Do we have Larry, K7LPK? Jeff, KK7OFT.
This is Jeff, KK7OFT, coming in on H2M1 split on a mobile at the base.
Thank you, Jeff. Sounds good on your mobile. Next is Vincent, N7VJK.
Vincent, N7VJK, coming through All-Star, and nothing to report. Back to net control.
Thanks, Vincent. Next is Dave, KF7JAF.
Good evening, Carol and Annette. This is KF7JAF in North Las Vegas, recently returned from Quartz Fest in Quartzsite, Nevada. And the wait time is had by all. We're gone all week. So, any questions about Quartz Fest, feel free to ask me. Ask Annette. KF7JAF.
Okay, thanks, Dave. I've never heard of that before, so I'm going to be looking that up. Next is Kathleen, KJ7QMU. How about Chuck, KJ7ETZ?
Good evening, everyone on the net. This is Chuck, KJ7ETZ, on H5 with an Anytone 578 with an outside CPE-1 antenna.
Thank you, Chuck. Next is Dane, KK7PDC. Mike, KJ7LOO.
This is Mike, KJ7LOO, coming in this evening through Echolink, and no further traffic.
Thank you very much, Mike. Next is Gene, KG7XD.
Good evening, Carol. Thank you for taking the net. I'm checking in on a Kenwood D74 handheld on H7, and although Robert N7FLR did not check in, I have a message for him. I need to talk with him. Por favor, llámame al 443538 CS441. That's all. Thank you. KG7XD.
Thanks, Gene. I'll be sure and pass that along. Actually, I'm joking. I won't. I don't know what you just said. Next is Wayne, N7HWM. Bill, KJ7KJV. Glenn, N8HC. W78.
Good evening to the net. This is Glenn, November 8 Hotel, California, coming into the net via H3 on a mobile as a base. I have no traffic back net.
Thanks, Glenn. Good to hear from you. Next is Dave, KJ7WGH.
Yes, thank you. This is Dave, KJ7WGH, Echolink, St. George, Utah. KJ7WGH, back to you.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Next is Ralph, KI7ZOI.
This is KI7ZOI, H2 repeater, using a 50-watt mobile as a base, no traffic.
Thank you, Ralph. Now we have the other Ralph, KD7BNP. Or we don't have him. This is Carol, KF4KF. I am continuing with the Sunday Night Net check-in with the Henderson Amateur Radio Club Sunday Night Net. Next is Chuck, N2CLN. How about Frank, KK7BUA?
Good evening, Carol. Good evening, Ed. This is Frank, KK7BUA, coming to you through Echolink. No further traffic. Thanks for doing it, Ed, Carol, and back to you.
You are welcome, Frank. Sounds good tonight. Next is Daniel, N2NJB.
Good evening, here from Panda Express on St. Rose in the Southwest. Coming in on H1 with Motorola R7. Hope everybody has a great night. And that's it down here in the Inspirada area. It's Daniel, N2NJB. Back to next.
Hey, Daniel, sounds great. If you're on the one around Amigo, that is literally right around the corner from us. So, sounded really good, and I'm glad you're enjoying your Panda Express. Next is Jim, KJ7ZSS. James, KK7IMB.
Good evening, Carol. KK7IMB. Coming to you on N1 H2 split on an Anytone 878 UV2. No further traffic. Back to net.
Thank you, James, for the check-in. Next is Darren, WS7R.
Good evening, Carol and Nanette. This is Darren, WS7R. Currently mobile on an Anytone 878 with a UHF only antenna on a mag mount on top. N2 H1. No further traffic.
Thank you, Darren. Next is Steve, KJ6WCS.
Good evening, Carol. Thank you for taking the net tonight. This is Steve, KJ6WCS, coming in on H1. I am currently at Apache and Blue Diamond in my car with a 705. Back to you, Net.
Thank you so much, Steve. Next is Andy, KJ7RFN. Norm, W2AD.
Good evening, Carol, and everybody on the net. This is Norm, W2AD, coming in on H1 and using a Yaesu FT400 with an outdoor mobile antenna. Back to net.
Thank you, Norm. Next is Lawrence, N6YFN. Next up is Rocky, W7NVS.
Rocky coming to you on Artfinder V1 Plus on H1, W7 MDS. Back to you.
Thanks, Rocky, for the check-in. Next is Glenn, W7 GPS.
Hi, everyone on the net. This is Glenn, W7 GPS. Tonight I'm on H1. I have no traffic. Back to net control. Whiskey 7 Golf. Papa Sierra.
Thank you, Glenn. Got you checked in. Next is Ricky, K4, KWF. Hello, Jason, WV, 3V. Albert, KK7, NML.
Good evening to the net. This is Kilo 7, and I'm for Mike Lima out of Southern Highlands with Yagi Taurus H1, KK7 Animal. Back to you.
Thank you, Albert. Next is Dave, AK7I.
Good evening, Carol, and to the net. I'm KDQ through Repeater Hotel 1, and I have no traffic for the net. Back to you, AK7I.
Thank you, Dave, for the check-in. Next, I have Kenyon, KK7HGW. David, W7 JCK. Gene, KB6CMO.
Carol in the net. This is Gene, KB6CMO in Anaheim on Charlie 1. Good evening, one and all.
Thanks, Gene. It was a little quiet coming in, but I was able to pick you up. Ruben, KD6CWI. Dawn, W7DGU. Jerry, K5GKW. Jay, KT5LA.
Well, good evening, everyone, from the South Bay area. This is KT5LA, and I confess that thank you, Dave, KF7JAF, for mentioning Quartz Fest. I admit that I've heard it before and kind of dismissed it as an event for people who enjoy collecting quartz, and went to the website, and boy, it's not that at all. I regret that I have a whole year to wait for the next one. It sounds like fun. Anyway, back to net, KT5LA.
Thanks for that, Jay. Yeah, I'm going to look that up afterwards, too. I've never heard of it. Bill, N2THO.
N2THO on H1, using mobile rig as a base and a vertical antenna off of grid power over here by the airport. Back to you.
Okay, Bill, thank you very much. Next is Norm, K7NOR. Ron, KJ7ABK.
Good evening, Carol on the net. This is Ryan, KH780K, coming tonight to cross center beat into H1. Back to control.
Thank you, Ryan. Next is Prince, W1PAA. Oscar, KK7MYO. Do we have Gordon, WB6GUC? Paul, KD6SIN. Mike, K6AAN.
Oh, good evening, Carol and the net. This is Mike up in Valley Springs, California. We're coming in on All-Star tonight using the Clearnote and the Yaesu FT5T handheld. Back to you. This is K6AAN.
Thank you, Mike. It sounds good through All-Star. This is Carol, KF4KF. Next up is Dan, KJ6YKF. Anthony, KN6VBV. Tracy, KJ7FPP.
Good evening, Ned. Mothership to see. That was a good time. I'm kind of glad I'm not working where I used to because my boss is a diehard Lions fan and his assistant manager was a diehard 49ers fan. Anyway, Kilo Juliet 7, Fox Cross Papa Papa, coming through H2. KPP71 mobile as a base, shown on tripod in the backyard. No further traffic.
Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, it sounds like the Lions really disappointed a lot of people. Next is Adam NX7T. Roger N6DMS. And Jerry KD7OKK.
Good evening to the net. This is Jerry, KD7OKK, coming in on H1. No further traffic.
Thank you very much. I've got you checked in. We are going to go to late check-ins or stations that missed their check-in acknowledgement. Call net control now.
LPK, Larry.
KJ7QMU.
K7BMP, Brown, repeater, Hotel 1 Zach.
Kilo 7, Charlie, Oscar, Zulu.
Juliet 7, Zulu, Sierra, Sierra.
Okay, so Larry, I've got you checked in, and Kathleen. Next, I got KK7, I think it was COZ, is that right?
That is correct. It is Kilo 7, Charlie, Oscar, Zulu. This is Brian coming in on N1.
Okay, excellent, Brian. I got you checked in. I had one ending in ZSF.
That was Kilo Juliet 7, Zulu, Sierra, Sierra. Jim on N1.
Okay, Jim. Excellent. I've got you checked in. I think I might have missed one more in there. So if I didn't just say your name or your sign, hit me back after this. But any other late check-ins or stations that missed their check-in earlier that I had already called for?
Kilo 7, Zulu, Echo X-Ray, Tony, Hotel 1.
LR, Kilo 7, November, Oscar, Romeo, A1.
KD7, BNP, Ralph.
Okay, I got Tony. Tony, I've got you checked in. There was one that ended in NOR. Okay, sorry, it was ONR, and then Ralph, I've got you checked in. Okay, any visiting stations wishing to check in now, please call Net Control.
This is Matt, W7FWA on All-Star FT3 through Sherry Node. Whiskey 7, Sierra Whiskey Alpha. Hey, Carol, can you get me to the roster, please?
Matt, can you give me the call sign again, slower, please?
Yeah, it's W7SWA, Whiskey 7, Sierra Whiskey Alpha, Southwest Airlines.
Okay, Matt, I've got you.
November, Oscar, Romeo, 4, 87, NOR.
Okay, I've got you now. 87 NOR. Got you checked in. Any other visiting stations or anybody else that I missed the original check-in for? Okay, I'll go for one final call for late check-ins, additional traffic, missed acknowledgments, or any visiting stations. Call Net Control now. All right, thank you very much for bearing with me through that. Just a quick recap, there will be a Tuesday morning breakfast meeting this Tuesday, January 30th at the Skyline Hotel and Casino, located on South Boulder Highway. Most people arrive around 8 a.m. The Board of Directors will discuss the 2024 budget on Zoom this Wednesday, January 31st. The email for that is budget2024@w7hen.org if you would like to attend. There will be a tag meeting on Zoom February 7th, starting at 6:30 p.m. to discuss the next steps in the Red Mountain Project. W7HEN, repeater, H1. The next general membership meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 28th, 2024. General membership meetings are held at the American Legion BMI Post 40, facility located on 425 East Van Wagenen Street in Henderson. If you haven't renewed already, please log into your Ham Club online account and renew your Henderson Amateur Radio Club membership. Thanks in advance for your participation. Tune into these frequencies every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the new Hams Net. More information about these and other activities can be found on the W7HEN.org website. Just visit the site and click on Calendar. Being a net control operator is a valuable skill to have, and it's a skill that gets better with practice. I mean, I'm not the best example, but it's true. If you are interested in becoming a net control operator for the Sunday Night Net, even if you can sign up for only one net per quarter, send an email to netcontrol@w7hen.org, and we will get you started. And, of course, we thank you in advance for your help. We're always looking for ways to better serve our members. If you have ideas, suggestions, or comments, please send the information to any board member. Their email addresses can be found at w7hen.org/meettheteam page. And you'd like to become a Henderson Amateur Radio Club member, just visit w7hen.org and click on the Join Now button. We'd love to have you on board. Thank you for participating this evening. This concludes the Henderson Amateur Radio Club Sunday Night Net. I now return the W7HEN repeater network back to regular use at 7:50 p.m. Stay safe, 73.
This is Rocky, W7NDS. Carol, got a question?
Rocky, yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
The question is this being recorded, and can we listen to it later?
So, Rocky, I'm not sure. Tim, if you're there, can you jump on and answer that?
K7 JTC here, Tim. Yeah, Rocky, it's recorded on Broadcastify. Broadcastify, it's a website, and they keep the archives of all of the transmissions on the HARC repeater network. Does it for 24 hours a day. Now, certain times when you try to get to the archives, you have to be a member, and I can't remember how much that cost. I think it was around $20, if I remember right. But to answer your question directly, Rocky, yes, everything is recorded, and it's out there on Broadcastify. K7, JTC, we'll turn it back over to Carol.
Few quick additional.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, since Bill has become president, he's asked me to start recording the 7 p.m. nets, and I've been doing so, and I think he's starting to post them up on YouTube. I think there's probably a couple-day delay. The silence is deleted, and the audio is leveled out, and things like that. I have missed the beginning of tonight's net, but I'm going to try to grab that off of Broadcastify and piece them together. Cue back to you, Carol. W3QQQ.
Thanks, everybody, for that information. That's good information to have. Rocky, hopefully that